The meaning of making art your living is a topic I want to explore today because we can see this from the making money side of making a living, the literal sense. And then there's also the way art can just take you on the most incredible journey, open your eyes to opportunities, connect you to people, connect you to yourself. And that's what I want to explore in today's session ahead of our Make Art Your Living workshops that start on Thursday. I'm so excited. So, good morning, hello, good evening. This is a live session. So, this is going to be turned into our podcast. So, you might be listening on the podcast. The audio won't be as good as it usually is because we are hosting this live. So, I'm excited because it's been a long time since I've done one of these live. And we're going to chat about making art a living. So, this is a general chat today. If you want practical steps to help you understand the art you are making, to understand the art direction you want to take, to get more connected with your art and learn how to get it out into the world and start selling it, that starts on Thursday. We are going to start those workshops together on Thursday, and that is very practical steps. I just break it down step by step. Do this, then do this, and do this, and you'll get results. Today, we're just chatting. So, if you just want to hang out with me and chat about the topic of making art a living, you're in the right place. That's what I'm talking about today. If you do want to sign up for the workshops and you haven't yet, the link is above. And it's a 2-week event where we immerse ourselves in art, in the art that we make, connecting with it, and finding our people, which is so, so key, especially in today's world that is really, really digital heavy. We're in the digital age. And so, learning these steps of how to connect to people and having authentic, genuine conversations and relationships and connections is more powerful than ever right now. And so I wanted to talk about the kind of dual aspects of the term making art a living from my point of view. And the first side, it's like two sides, two facets for me. And the first side is the literal sense of making art a living. And that is, in a nutshell, covering my day-to-day living expenses from my creative endeavors. And so that's the literal sense of making art a living. I am able to pay for my life through my creativity. And so when we're thinking about making art a living, there is that sense. And this is where it's different for everybody, because making art a living for me and what I need to fulfill my life is going to be completely different to you. Now, some people can make a living on very little because they live a very simplistic life. Like, I have friends who don't have a mortgage. They one of my friends is amazing, and she literally goes around house sitting. She doesn't pay to live anywhere because she goes from place to place to place to place, house sitting dogs and cats, and she doesn't pay for accommodation. And so some people have this amazing, incredible way of just living really simplistically. So making art a living in the financial sense for them is so much easier, so much more simple. And this is the great thing, is that you can live life on your own terms and you can create that definition of what making art a living is for you. And I share this because sometimes we do fall into the trap of living our lives the way we think we should be living it, and it can put enormous pressure on us. So that's one thing to contemplate today, is what that term means, making a living, and what does it mean to me to make a living? What do I have to bring in? And sometimes having this moment now to just question, am I living it the way that I want to? Am I putting way too much pressure on myself with all of these bills and all of these outgoings? And can I simplify my life more? Or the other might be true. Maybe I want more. Maybe I do want to spend more. There's no right or wrong here. You're in control. And so that's a great part of this process of making art a living, is deciding what that looks like, first of all. And when you start to shape that and you start to consider, like, what do I need to do then to create that financial money from my creativity, you can start to actually put a plan into place of how you can make that happen. And for some who are in a job, um, it might look, to begin with, as you transition, that maybe I'd making out a living to begin with is like 1 day a week where I can still have my full-time job, so I'm secure, and maybe I bring in 1 day a week of money, so I could do it that way. It's so flexible. And I share this because a lot of the time people think that to call yourself an artist, you have to be making a full-time living just from your art. And if you make money any other way, you're a fraud and you're not a real artist. Just not the case, not the case at all. This is your life and you can earn money on your own terms and do it any way that you want to. And it can be from your art sales, it can be from books, it can be from teaching, it can be from anything. And this is what we're going to look at when we explore the 7 keys together in the workshop, because the important part of this is your why, which is one of the keys. It's the second key that I'll be talking about. Your why and what you want to do and how you want to live your life and what sparks your passion. Making art your way, being creative in your way is the most important part of this. Doing it on your terms, because you are unique. You are an artist that shares a story through visual language. And that voice that you have is yours. And so this whole process, when we go through this workshop together, is really leaning into that part of yourself. That part of you that is special, your special sauce that makes you different to everyone else. The way you hold your pencil, the way you hold your pen, the paint, what stops you when you walk down the street and you go, wow, look at that. That's the part of being an artist that you want to connect with. And so when we start to think about the monetary side and making art a living, that's the first step, is defining what that looks like. Like, what does that look like to me? What does making art a living mean to me? What would I need to earn? And then I'm really briefly summarizing this right now, but the best ways to start to get out there and sell is to be in front of people. And we know that if you've got something to sell, you need someone to sell it to. It's as simple as that. I have something here and I need a buyer. And that's it. You need people. 100%. You need people. And so you have to get in front of people. And so the biggest 3 ways of getting in front of people: 1, organically. So organic is you sharing your work on social media. It's you sharing through emails. Someone sees you in a gallery and then someone else sees you and that person recommends you. It's you showing up, talking to people, getting really in tune with your art and talking, which is why I can't wait to run these workshops, because this is what we're going to help you with. A lot of people that take part in the Make Art Your Living workshop say that the biggest way it helps them is to give them confidence in how they speak about their work, to give them the confidence to actually say, this is what I do, and I'm going to put it out there. Because if you don't put the work out there and you're not chatting to people, it's never going to get anywhere. And so that confidence in what you do is so important. And I was reading back through some of the stories from last year of people that took part in this workshop. And it was incredible to see the people who started it, who said, I just don't have any belief in this work. I don't believe it's good enough. And through the workshops, they learned how to talk about it and how to talk about themselves and how to have that confidence to go, yeah, this is me. And I'm going to put this out in the world. And there was one lady who sold her work within 10 minutes because she'd been holding it back for such a long time. And then she shared it and it was like, boom, sale. And I love it when things like that happen, because it's almost like validation, isn't it? It's like the sign of, this is the right thing for me to do. But for some people, it's not that easy. They put the work out there, but nothing's happening. And that can be soul destroying. And it's usually a case of just having to connect with your people, doing a little bit more work to find the right people. And so organic is one way, and growing that confidence in what you're doing and understanding the work so you can talk about it is the best way when you are trying to reach people organically. The second way is to pay for advertising. And you can use lots of tools now for advertising, printing. You can print flyers, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok. There's all the different adverts that you can pull together. And I always say to people, ads are really fantastic. Paid ads are brilliant, because if you know what you're doing, you can reach people on a really massive scale. But the thing with ads is you have to know, who are you trying to attract? Who are you speaking to? Because unless you know who you're trying to attract with an advert, don't run them. And you need to have your messaging dialed in. And so with adverts, there's a lot of testing, tweaking, trial and error that can be expensive. So if you don't have a clue who your people are, then don't run the ads. If you don't know who you're trying to attract, don't pay. That's the other thing that we'll be covering in the Make Art Your Living workshops. It's who are you? Who are your people? And we're going to get clear on that together. And then the third way is the most exciting way, I think, and I think in today's world right now, this is super, super powerful, is to collaborate with other people who get you, who have access to your people, who can spread the word about you, who can share you on their blog or on their podcast or in a magazine, or, like an influencer who has a real big connection with your art in some way. And this doesn't have to be somebody in the art world. This is the exciting part of the digital age that we're living in right now, because there are lots of people out there in the world with big audiences, with big power, with big communities. You don't have to go to a gallery per se anymore. You can connect with people. And there's all types of groups in the world and communities in the world that I reckon would link back to your artwork. And so this is one of the most exciting and most powerful ways to grow, the eyeballs on your artwork. If you want to get it out into the world, and especially if you want to make a living from it, you need eyeballs on your work. And the more eyeballs, the better. And so connecting with third parties and connecting with people that you can collaborate with, 100% definitely should be on your radar. And again, when we go through the Make Art Your Living event together, we are going to put this into practice together. We are actually going to break down the steps of how you take an artwork, how you learn more about it, how you connect it to people, and how you go and find those opportunities and those collaborations. So I'm going to give it you step by step of how to do it. So there is that one side of being an artist and focusing on the making art your living and what that means, and the sales and finding the buyers. And then there's a whole other side of making art your living, which actually gets me really excited. And that is when, of course, it's good to focus on the money. It's good to focus on sales and to be driven and to have a target. But if we focus only on that, we miss so much. We miss beautiful connections with people that usually are guiding us somewhere. And we miss opportunities because we're so focused on, right, I'm at this event and now I want to sell these pieces. And if these pieces don't sell, then that's the end of the world. And I'm going to come away from this, I'm going to be really disappointed. And then I'm just going to maybe just stop selling, or just, yeah. And so, and I see it happening in our community right now, that when these things happen, it spirals and people derail, and actually there's beautiful opportunities in what's happening to these artists that I'm seeing right in the moment, but they can't see it because they're so disappointed and they're so angry and they're so upset with themselves. And actually, I'm like, but look at this, what's just happened here? So I'm going to give you some examples in a minute. In fact, there was one this morning. So a lovely, lovely artist in our community, and I won't share the name because I don't have permission to share the story. I just read this morning. And the artist has shared the work in the world and got a commission. And this is how it usually goes when someone first starts selling. Okay, they're too scared to put a price on it, don't know how to put a price on it. So, right, okay, I'll just wait until I'm pushed into the corner. And so I've seen this happen a lot where an artist will either get a commission and they say yes, and they go down the road and they have no conversation up front with how much the work is because it's too scary. Because it's too scary. And so it's almost like you just bury your head in the sand, just hope it all works out at the end and you'll be reimbursed lovely, lovely amount that you were hoping for. Fingers crossed. Anyway, so I see this time and time again, and usually sometimes it works out and a lot of the times it doesn't. And in this situation, what had happened, it was with a friend. There was a lot of work put into this artwork. And then the conversation came at the end and the artist was like, right, this is finished. And the person said, right, how much do you want? And the artist panicked and went, I don't know what to say. And she was like, I don't know, make me an offer. And it was all getting really confusing and muddly. And in the end, the artist gave the work away. And this happens. It happens. And the artist came in because the artist was upset and said, I've just poured in all this work. I've just done all of this and I've just given it away at the last minute because I just didn't know what to do. And now I feel upset because I feel like they didn't see the value in what I'm doing. And how could they just take that from me? You know, it's upsetting and I get that. And then that it's like a balloon that's been popped and it just deflates and the balloon's like you've just sucked everything out of my life and the joy of making this art gone, like pop the balloon, gone. And so there are opportunities though here, and so what I went back is you've given it now, so trying to see it from their point of view, of the receiver, because when we're in this mindset, it can be really overpowering, can't it? When we think about, they didn't value me, they just happily took that. And I understand that feeling. It's harsh, it hits you in the heart. Like, what, you know, the hours I've just poured in. So we're trying to reframe it with this artist, of see it from their point of view. They've just received the most wonderful, precious gift, probably of their entire life. They are probably like singing, oh my gosh, how incredible that we just got gifted this artwork. So we're trying to like see it from their perspective to try and ease the pain of this a moment. And then in that moment, it's thinking, well, I've just given this artwork to you. So now how can I lean into this? How can I lean into this experience and take it into the next commission? And that's going back to this person saying, I'm so happy that you are so pleased with this artwork. I would love it if you could send me a video with your artwork telling me how much you like it, what it means to you. And then you're going to push that into the next commission and show that value and that red dot. And they didn't buy it, but they enjoy it. You're going to share that message of how much that work means to them into the next commission. And you'll charge for that one. But this is not lost. It can move in. And so making art your living, this whole experience that I'm talking about right now, is every interaction that we have and every opportunity we have. Simon in our community was sharing recently that he had an exhibition and he didn't sell at the exhibition. And so instead of focusing purely on, I didn't get any sales, he beautifully focused on every conversation that he'd had at that exhibition. And he made really amazing connections with people who'd been homeless, with people that had come from all different walks of life, with people that were giving back to the community. It opened his eyes to all these projects that were happening and different connections in his own artwork. And then there was just all this beautiful synergy happening between people and projects in the future. And sometimes it's not about immediate sales right now in this moment. It's about these signals that are coming your way. And these are leading you to opportunities. And sometimes, because we live in an instant gratification world, we want results now, give them me now. We often overlook this incredible part of the journey. The way that if something goes wrong, how can we manipulate this now to take that into the next thing that we do? How, in this moment, if we were putting all of our expectations on this happening, how can we take opportunities in this exhibition right now and move that into the next thing that we do? And sometimes what's happening is that we pin all of our hopes on an outcome, like this, we must sell this, it must sell. And there's all this beautiful journey along the way that we need to be enjoying and embracing. And the subtle nuances, the subtle conversation of meeting someone and they plant a seed in your mind and you go, these shouldn't be overlooked. We need to give them power, because this is the incredible part of being an artist, and this is making art a living. And it's how the dots begin to add up and enrich your life and bring you connections and happiness and people. And people are everything, I believe, in this journey. Because it doesn't matter whether you want to sell it, if you want to get it out in the world, if you just want to make art and grow that side of yourself, people are important. The people that you learn from, the people that inspire you, the people that give you that next tip of, why don't you try this with the artwork? The person that says, do you know what, you should meet this person because your art, they will get it. This is the power of making art a living, when you connect with the right people. And this is you creating your own art world, making art a living, and you're living and breathing it. And you say a conversation, you have a conversation with someone and they go, oh my gosh, I get you. And you feel all these tingles and you're like, yes. And so quite a lot of people in our community sometimes come in because they have these preconceived ideas of, I want to sell this, I want to sell more of this. And actually sometimes when you let go of the preconceived ideas and you embrace the signs and the journey and the connections that you make, and you think, wow, this is strange, and it's not strange, it's happening for a reason. This is where doors start to open and you start to awaken. And we've had people join our community where they've been so dead set on this certain outcome, and actually their journey wasn't meant to be that. So for example, some people who so dead set on selling a particular type of art, like, yeah, this is what I want to sell. And then they've come into our program, and it's amazing and beautiful to see when they start actually realizing that they've not been getting inside here. They've been looking at external factors, basing their decisions on that. This person's doing this. This person said I should do this. This is selling for them, so I'm going to go down this road, and not looking in here. And a lot of people have come to us and then gone, oh my gosh, yeah, it isn't about selling this cushion actually. And when they've let go of the intensity of I must sell this, they've ended up going on this really incredible journey, and the cushion takes them on the journey, and they've ended up doing workshops and meeting people and going, wow, actually, I want to work with kids. I want to give back to my community. It was the cushion and the design and the art that led them there. And I love this topic because this is how I got to where I am right now. My art is what has grown me to this point. Like, it's like me and the art, and we go on this journey and we dance together, and every time I learn something else about the direction that I want to go in, and it speaks to me. I know it sounds bonkers, and that's what's led me to, I've become a writer. I didn't ever believe I'd be a writer. I have dyslexia. I hate writing. Always told myself I hate writing. I'm rubbish at writing. And now I've become a writer without me even realizing it. I didn't even intentionally do that. I just realized recently, I write thousands and thousands and thousands of words on a weekly basis. I'm a writer. How did that happen? And it's from my art, from creating the art and then sharing it and just being really in tune with what it is I want to say and where the art's going, and meeting someone and then meeting someone else. And then I did the magazine and I've done the podcast, and now we've got courses, and now I'm carving stone, and I've got a pottery place with my friend in a studio. It's like, this is making art a living. This is it. And the encounters and the amazing people like you that I have discovered along the way and made friends with. And sometimes I sit in these situations, and I met my friend Jenny. Jenny's one of our reps in our community. And it was amazing to meet Jenny. And I was supposed to meet some of the members at the weekend, but I couldn't come. And I was really sad that I couldn't make it. But I met Jenny, and Jenny, started this journey with us a few years ago. And I remember Jenny coming in, and she really likes making art and books. So she's really fascinated with books. And she would make these beautiful books and collage. And I remember her reaching out to me saying, I just don't know who is going to buy these books. Like, who on earth is going to buy a book of art like this? And it takes me so much time. They're really expensive. Who's going to spend all that money? And I'll never forget Jenny saying that to me. And we'd bounce around ideas. And to cut a very long story short, Jenny's journey now, and Jenny would chip away. And she just had her first solo show, and I went to it. And it's amazing to just see how she's selling her artwork. She's found a way. She's got the most amazing way of presenting her work. She's got amazing attention to detail. And she's gone on this incredible journey of, the books were her starting point, of then leading to these kind of individual pieces, exploring her voice. And then she started to refine what it is that she's making. And it's gone from making books to now she's collaborated with a charity, and she's created these collages of local mills in her area. And she's unearthed all of these incredible people. And now she's in it. She's like, I've got this project, and I'm talking with these people, and I know now where my work's going, and it's going here. She created these beautiful books to take away, sold out within an hour. And like, it was just so amazing to see Jenny in her world that she created. She created that world. Going from, I don't know how to do this, and I'm stuck, and to now having this beautiful world around her. And that's what I'm passionate about sharing, is how you create your own world. You create your own art world. And that's making art a living. It's you using your art and going on the most amazing journey and looking for the signs and allowing it to give you the clues and the introduction to the next people, and not overlooking those steps when we get so hung up on an outcome and being so disappointed. It's looking at that and thinking, what do I take from this? What is this teaching me? What is this giving me that I can use in the future? Sharon, I was talking to Sharon about this. So my friend Sharon, and I'm gonna come to the chat in a minute, because I realize I'm just spouting off, and I want to hear from you, those who are tuning in live. What does making art a living mean to you? I was talking with my friend Sharon, and Sharon was saying, because Sharon's a full-time artist and she's a ceramicist, and she works in seasons, and she's just coming out of a season of making and showing and selling. And now she's in a season of calm, breathe, and she's not in the studio. And sometimes that can make people anxious. She's got no ideas. She doesn't know where her art's going. She trusts the process, and she's in that stage of just allowing it to be. And what Sharon's noticing now is she's going back to drumming. She's going back to all these other creative outlets that kind of feed her artwork. And it's amazing, because all of these parts feed into Sharon's work in some way, indirectly or directly, consciously or subconsciously. And And what I loved about Sharon sharing this story is sometimes, especially if you're making a living already, there can be this emphasis on time is money. And, if I just sit here playing around on the drums, where's that actually getting me? It's not paying the bills. And there is a lot of pressure on people, I find, in terms of this, in terms of like, right, we should be doing something. I should be doing something. I should be, I should be tidy, and I should be making money. I should be working on something. And allowing sometimes that space to just be, and to light that fire again inside of, I fancy just picking up the drums. I'm just going to sit and drum and not worry about when's the next collection coming though, Sharon, because we're going to have to start getting some money in soon. And she's allowing that space, allowing it. And actually, and this is what the most exciting part was for me, observing. And then Sharon was talking about she's met this person, and she went digging clay with her, and she's playing these drums, and the drums led Sharon to this quote of this rhythm that she used to play when she was a child, and how actually it's really hard for the brain to, we were on the drums and we were trying to like tap a rhythm and then tap a rhythm on a different drum at the same time. It's really hard because your brain, well, my brain just isn't trained to do that. And it was beautiful. And there was all this contemplation coming through in Sharon, and I can see her, this is the underlying brewing inspiration that's coming through into the next work. And it's allowing yourself to explore that side of yourself, to allow that playtime. And again, this is making art a living. It's all the little pockets of things that you do add up to the bigger picture of who you are and your artwork. It all filters in, which I just think is so lovely. So if you try and disconnect parts of yourself all of the time, because sometimes we have to focus on a project. Simone's with me now. Simone's got her retrospective happening this week. You've got to cut parts of yourself off if you're focusing on a big project. And Sharon did during the summer as she was selling and making, but now she's it's important to get those pathways back again, those things that really light you up as a person. And this is what we're going to be doing through the Make Art Your Living workshops as well. We're going to be really connecting with that part of ourselves, stopping for a moment and observing what's around us, what's lighting us up, looking at our own work, what's exciting us in our work at the minute, what isn't, what do we need to let go of, and then really being intentional about creating our own art world. Sharon said to me recently, I remember at the beginning, I felt like I was on the outside looking into an art world that I wanted to get into, and I had no idea how. She said, I just felt like I was this person on the outside, a nobody trying to get in, and I couldn't fathom it out. And there was all these people in it who were happy and making art and then making a living, and they're having these shows and they're being invited places. Why is this not happening for me? And now Sharon's in it. She said, I feel like I'm in it. I'm in the world. And she created it. She created that world that she's in. This is what I'm passionate about. You creating your own world around you. And especially in today's world where it's so opinionated, there is so much toxicity, especially on social media. And so more than ever, I believe creating your own world with lovely people around you who support you, who connect you, who aren't going to fill your feed with horrible comments. This is what we want to do. We want to grow more of that. And going back to the beginning, when I said that, the biggest way at the moment to get your art out there in the world is to collaborate with people. The more you understand your art, the power it has, why it matters, the purpose, and the more you understand what your art is actually saying and who else would be interested and be on the same page as you, the more you can connect with those people through genuine conversations. It's actually really simple if we break it down into the steps. So, woohoo! I'm going to get to the chat now. Hello, Annette's with us. Hello, Katrina's with us. Kat. Laura is tuning in from Croatia. I can't wait for Make Art Your Living. Laura's had amazing success, which all began with these workshops. I'll be sharing some stories with you as well during the workshops from people that have taken part in this, because it's so incredible. Vanessa's tuning in from New Zealand. Hello. Rachel's here with us. Hello, Rachel. Maria's tuning in from London. Kath, nice to see you. David's with us. Hello, David. Are you in a cafe, David? Katrina said, I stepped away from the corporate life that was killing me. Best thing I ever did. Not yet covering my costs, but I do live a frugal life and determined this year to do it. Yes, to make art a living. I like this. So, but for me, make art a living means I'm also recognized as an artist. Yes. David says Lamborghini. That's what it looks like to me. Caroline says a toy one. Ryan's like, wait, what day is it? I'm doing the podcast live today. This is going to be turned around and released out on the podcast. A big shout out, Ryan. Hello. Eleanor's tuning in from Italy. Eleonora, sorry. Well, this one. So this one, this is probably a joke from Ryan, but my people are as poor as me. And this is a really good topic and one that I want to talk about when we do the Make Art Your Living event, because one thing that you can do when you are growing your own art world is you can decide who you want to attract. And when you decide who you want to attract, you speak to those people. So you speak to those people who can afford that price point. And when you're mapping out your artwork and your art is a certain price point, you'll be asking yourself, who is it that invests in that price of artwork? What does that person, who is that person? And also, one thing, this is a really deep, interesting conversation. The other thing is as well, the more your audience understand who you are and you create that desire, and the more familiar they are with your pricing. And I've done this before where I've started to follow an artist and I thought, oh, it's quite expensive. And then I stay with them for a while and I'm following them. And I've not just done it with art, with other things in my life as well. You've looked at something, you think, oh, it's expensive, but you keep following them because you're interested. And then you keep following and you keep following. And then all of a sudden you get so used to the price point and you really want something, you find a way. So there's lots of things at play if you feel that your audience are, they can't afford the artwork. There's lots of things that you can do because there's lots of people out there that can afford artwork and want to invest in artwork and they want to buy artwork, and £1,000 is nothing to some people. And so when you start to understand the 7 keys and you're looking at who your people are and who you need to be to sell at that price point and how you need to be speaking about the art and who you need to be attracting, it's not to say that your current audience won't buy. They might do when you start showing the value that you're providing through your art, and they might come round and go, actually, yeah, I can make this happen. Or you structure their price points so that your current audience, there's something at entry level that hits the sweet spot for them, and then you're aiming to find the audience for your higher price point stuff. So this is the exciting part is, when Sharon was starting out, her work was priced, her entry level pieces were priced at £50. And I remember having the conversation with Sharon around, like, how do I increase that? It was a rhetorical question at the time, which she was asking that of herself, to go out and look in the art world. Who else is selling at that price point that's 5 times more? Who do I need to be to sell at that price point? Who do I need to attract? What world do I need to be in to start selling at that price point? And she got there. And now she's looking at, how do I go up to the next level? And so it's a really interesting topic. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Someone says here, I'm giving away for silly money, my artwork. Yeah. Oh, Sharon. Good to see you, Sharon. Oh, I love this. Laura says, I met a whole group close to 20 lovely artists via your platform. We meet in real life to create art. We buy each other's art. We attend each other's workshops. We support each other in real life. That was an unexpected and totally amazing result of doing Make Art Your Living workshops and joined United Art Space community. Thank you. That's making art your living. That's it right there. And the Croatian group that Laura's just mentioned, they are all thriving, and it's no coincidence that they've got this group and they formed it and they champion each other and they help each other and they keep each other's mindset strong because together you are stronger. Like, who's had this happen where you're on your own and you're trying to do things by yourself, and you're on the move and you're thinking, yeah, this is great, and then something happens, someone says something really mean, and you think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. You question everything, like, really, am I good enough? What am I doing here? And if you have a group behind you, this is why I formed United Art Space, to keep championing you and encouraging you, it's gold. It's worth so much and it keeps you going. I have to have my own sanity is kept going through other people, 100%. Yes, David, has anyone heard the rumor that Rochelle has finished the first draft of her book? Yes, I have finished the first draft. I have finished the first draft. It's exciting. And I'm going to do the workshops and then I'm going to go all in on the book and get it all wrapped up. So the book will be coming out next year. Oh, let me just see. Let me just check the chat before we wrap up. So who's signed up to take part in the Make Art Your Living workshops? Let me just see. So yeah, there's a question here from Victoria. So if you need more eyeballs, it goes back to the beginning of what I was saying. Organic, you need to reach people organically, paid, or collaborations with people. They're the three ways to get more eyeballs on your stuff. Oh, it's lovely to see you all here on a live session. Oh, Jenny's with us. Hello, Jenny. I'm so glad I found you. Your advice has helped me so much. I'm so happy with how far I've come. And I've got so much more focus now on where I'm going. Yeah, and your work was so confident as well. You could really see the confidence in your work as well. Rachel says, I find switching off from my art and doing other creative things clears my head. And when I come back to my art, I find I have better clarity. Yes. Yeah, Tracy, playtime is so important. Oh, Kivy says, I can't get myself to value what I do. I almost feel embarrassed when I try. Has anyone else felt like this? Yes, 100%, all the time. Honestly, if you're not signed up already, take part in the workshops that start on Thursday, because a big part of the workshops is you getting connected to what you do and to really start to embrace who you are and own that and know that you actually don't need thousands and thousands of people. You just need a few people to get going, and it kind of snowballs from there. And you just need a few people to see what you're doing and connect, and you go, oh my gosh, that builds your confidence then of there is someone out there that sees what I'm doing, and then you'll get the next person and the next person. So yeah, absolutely. Simon's with us too. Hi, Simon. I don't stop being an artist. When I'm driving the car home from teaching at university and listening to this, I had always been an artist before coming across United Art Space and realizing I wanted to paint and write and do digital and hybrid and collaborative artwork. Yes, and you can do it all. This is the other thing we're going to share in the workshops too, is that you can be you're the captain of your own ship. You can be whoever you want. You can be any type of artist that you want to be. Oh, it's so good to have you all here. I'm excited to kick things off on Thursday. Tiggy Art, yes, it's good to be here with you too. Oh, Anne says, yeah, making art to me is finding a truth, tapping into the real me. What really lights a spark for me, not having art that will just please other people. It's responding to things that make me gasp and memories from the past. Sometimes you just don't always have to know the reason. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's an inner feeling, isn't it? It just gives you that feeling. Hi, Christine. I love that feeling when I sell an artwork and realize that my own original voice I created, that is a part of me, is in someone's home to be viewed and enjoyed by others. Yeah. And this painting of my granddad, for me, like that holds so much emotion. For me, it captures more than a photograph with my granddad. There's so much in that painting that I can't even describe. It's like I can see him. It's like he's there with me when I look. And that's the power of art that can capture so much. It can encapsulate so much in a painting that gives this feeling as well. And I think a lot of it is the layers behind what someone can communicate in an artwork, that people can actually express the emotion of that person in an artwork. A really good portrait artist can do that. And also it's the fact that someone painted it, and this isn't to bash photography because I love photography, by the way. But I'm just talking here about how sometimes we underestimate the power that our art has. And actually, when someone's painted it, I believe in the energy of that work. Someone has painted it. There's an energetic thing happening as well. There's something in that artwork that's real and soulful. Do you get me? I know that's a bit out there, but it is. um, Oh, Alaria, hello. Tracy says this workshop last year kickstarted so much more than my art. The seeds planted here have led to so many good things and big changes starting in my life. That's amazing to hear. Oh, it's so nice. Um, Let me see. Katrina says, my work is all about valuing myself. I had been crushed and broken by a toxic boss, and I now use broken or waste materials to create new and beautiful pieces to demonstrate they still have value, as do I. Oh, Dodo says, I've recently jumped a level in price point. This is such a great example. And I sold twice on this level. It gave me a lot of confidence and feedback. I raised the level last year. I asked and received. Yes. And it's a process, isn't it? And sometimes going back to that conversation at the beginning about making art a living, sometimes at the beginning stages, you question, how on earth can I make this a living if I'm only selling at this price point? And it's a process. The more you create the desire for what you have, and the more you learn how to articulate and find your people and get the purpose across and make those connections, your pricing is going to go up. And you get to dictate the pricing. You can choose, like, I want to price at this. How do I do it? and it doesn't happen overnight. It can, but it doesn't usually. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I've started doing well-being workshops in my cabin in my mum's alpaca field. It took me a while to get out of my comfort zone, and I love it. That's fantastic. Oh, yeah. Simone says, I'm just about to raise my prices, about to my growth as an artist and as a human. Thank you, Michelle, and all my dear friends inside the hub. Sam says here, I'm finding that the price I sell at pays for the costs and wages, but I can't cover the cost of the downtime, social media time, the exploration time, the research time. So the wage I earn from selling is soaked back in to cover the downtime. I'm paying the cost, but not making a wage. So how do you change that, Sam? So this is now, and by the way, it's normal in any business. It's normal to be a stage in the beginning where you're covering your costs. Whether you're a restaurant, whether you're an artist, a hairdresser, there is usually that stage at the beginning, which is normal, and you want to get out of it. And so you're at that stage now where you go, right, time out. How do I get out of this? And if you're selling, it's about putting your pricing up, and it's about looking at your structuring, and maybe you need to attract higher paying clients. And so you're at that level now where you start to go, what is the solution here? How am I going to do this so that I cover all of that? How am I going to do it? And I can do it because other people are doing it. How am I going to get myself out of this situation? But applauding yourself though for, I've got this far and I'm covering my costs. Wow, that's amazing. So now I'm going to push it to the next level, and I want to double. How am I going to double? Or even don't put a limit on it. Just it's just thinking now, how do I get out of this current situation, and how do I push this now? Yeah, I am going to be finished because this was supposed to be a 30-minute talk because it's going on the podcast. So, um, Maria says, "I've sold a few pieces here and there. It's a great feeling. The money is nice, but it's more important to feel more confident." I remember an old school teacher saying, "Stop hiding your light." Oh, wow. Yeah. Nicole, I got busy with the day job. However, taken small steps and have three pieces in a local art wave. That's lovely. Um, I was told to look at other artists with a similar style of art as yours, Mine, base your price on their work. It's just one tiny way of pricing, one tiny way. It's really good to be observant of what other people are selling for, I think, to kind of benchmark yourself. But that's one tiny way, and I wouldn't just do it based on that because then you know, there's so many other factors that affect pricing, and you can actually decide what price you want to price at and figure out how do I get there. Now, you might not be able to do that overnight and quickly. Some people can, and it's dependent on so many factors. One is yourself. Like if you're a go-getter and you can figure this out and you know how to communicate your work and you can get it out there and you're going to go knock on doors and you know you're going to quickly get up that ladder. It's those people that just go out there and do it. But if not, and then there's sometimes a slower pace of I want to charge 1500. Let's start here and I'm going to work up to that as I learn how to talk about my work, learn who my people are, grow the desire. And yeah, so that's one tiny part is looking at other people's pricing. It's good to do, but don't get derailed because what could happen is you look at a load of artists who actually underprice their work. That's the danger with that advice. So you go out and you look at 5 artists who are selling like you, but they're all undervaluing themselves and they might not be making any money. And so you don't want to go down that road then of pricing the same as them because you're going to start underpricing without realizing it. So yeah, there's a lot more factors that go in, but we will cover pricing. Um, oh, I love this. Kat says, I'm currently enjoying delivering workshops and working with vulnerable adults and people in recovery. It's so rewarding. I've come so far. I feel I found my niche and it started with United Art Space. Oh, I actually want to cry. Oh, oh. Ah, Wasentha, thank you so much. um, Thank you, because I struggle pronouncing names. My dyslexic brain gets really muddled up. Um, oh, and if you want to know, like, where do I sell? Where do I begin? The workshops on Thursday, we're going to start with practical steps for you to take. Jean will cover this in the workshops, actually. We're going to cover this. So if you follow along with the workshops, um, because it can be a problem for galleries, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to just concentrate on one thing. Um, Yay. I know, thank you, Anne. Right, that's it. We're going to wrap up. Thank you. It was so nice to be back on a Monday, Motivational Monday. I hope you have the most incredible week. I'm going to do another live session on Wednesday, just as we start to, it's like a little prep, a little introductory video to just get us primed, ready for when we start the workshops on Thursday. And I'm going to be here pouring everything. Those who've taken part before know I give these 2 weeks everything. I'm just going to share. I don't hold anything back. I'm going to say as much as I possibly can during the 2 weeks so you can soak it all up and take all the knowledge. And we do have our 7 Keys course starting at the end of September. So we run these the 2-week workshops, and it's free. There's a chance to upgrade if you want extra worksheets and resources. And then we open up enrollment at the end of the workshops. There is no pressure to take part, but these workshops are a great introductory experience for those who may want to carry on and go through to the 7 Keys. But if you don't, people here will tell you these 2 weeks will give you a lot, not just one thing. We're going to share a lot with you. Okay, so great to see you all here. Take care, my friends, and I'll chat to you all soon. Bye-bye.